Okay, so I hit this first, right? Yeah. It is Tuesday, January 16th, 2024. I'd like to welcome everyone to the City of Daly City, the regular meeting of the Daly City Library Board of Trustees. And call to order, please. Oh, you called order. So we do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I will ask for a roll call, Chayla.
Certainly. All right. Trustee Logarta. Trustee Goodman.
Here.
Vice President Lex. Present. Trustee Trunco.
Here.
And President Pacheco.
Gary Pacheco, present. Okay. And now I will ask for the approval of the agenda.
Move the agenda be approved as presented.
Can I get a second?
Second.
So moved? Okay.
All in favor?
Okay, I'm sorry. Thank you, Bill. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Approval of minutes? Can I? An
Motion
approval?
to approve.
Yeah, motion to approve.
Second?
Yeah, what was it?
All in
So
favor?
moved. Okay. All in favor? You can screw it up. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. First, I'd like to say this is the first meeting of the year, and I just want to wish everyone a happy new year. And with that said, we will go to our first agenda, which is a okay, I'm sorry. So for public comments, okay, please go,
There were no online public comments?
oh, there were no online public comments? Okay, okay. So now, the next one is the presentation, report from the Daly City Library Associates. Hello, Victoria.
Hi, hello. Thank you so much for having me. I haven't been in here a little while. I like to send my board members so that you all recognize them, but since I haven't been here to say hi, I think you all have met me. I think you're the one that I know the least, but I know we did meet, so it's very nice to meet you. Victoria Magbilong, Executive Director of Daly City Public Library Associates. And it's just nice to see you all and to just fill you in on what we're up to. Our biggest excitement coming up is the St. Patrick's Day luncheon. That's our traditional,
That came up fast.
yeah, I know, it seems like it's every month. So this year it'll be on Thursday, March 14th at the
14th.
Colma Community Center. And we'd really love to see you all there. I don't think all of your memberships are currently active, so I brought some envelopes to make it very easy if you'd like to renew. Technically, it's an invitation-only event for members, although honestly, you're the library board, so we would love to see you, but it's really important that you show your support for DCPLA by being members. So I will leave these for you, so make it easy. And you can, it also has instructions on how to renew or update online. But it's a wonderful event. A lot of community members are there. We have wonderful speakers. And usually we have like city council and hopefully Supervisor Canepa will come visit. And there'll be delicious food and some entertainment. So hope to see you all there. And the other big thing that's going on right now is we are nearing the deadline for applications for the next Daly City Youth Poet Laureate. That the application deadline is January 31st. And it is open to all teens who either live in Daly City or attend school in Daly City, ages 13 through 18. And please, share the word. We've got information on our website, our social media and everything. We'd really like to see a lot of submissions. We've already gotten a few, so that's good to know. I'm always like, please, at least one. But, we've had 3 so far. This will be our 4th, and the 3 have been amazing. So, please help spread the word to anybody you know who's eligible. We would love to see lots and lots of applications. We will be having our commencement event for that. I just got confirmation today here in City Hall on April 25th. I believe that's a Thursday as well. So it'll be that evening from 6:30 to 8. So I really hope that you all will all attend to show your support for the program. We'll have performances by our finalists, and then we will announce the winner. of the contest. So, yeah, that's mostly what's going on right now. And we recently got a new grant from a part of an ongoing grant, the Gordon L. King Jr. Memorial Fund, which is, wonderful support from a community member in honor of his father. And we will be hopefully appropriating, or the library will be appropriating those funds in the next few meetings. So that will go for some study chorale, is that the right word? Carols. So, yeah, that's everything. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Victoria.
And I'll just leave these.
All right,
or
thank you,
here.
Victoria. Good seeing you again.
Victoria, before you get away, what is the membership fee, the annual membership, sort of expectation?
So there are different levels. The lowest level is $20 up till you can put $1 million in there if you like. And, the different levels are mainly just, what you can, fit within your budget, but also like, I'd like to actually publicly acknowledge that Trustee Lagarta recently got her company to give a very generous donation. Those of you who have those sort of jobs, please don't hesitate to find out. Sometimes companies do matching, that sort of thing. But, at the very least, a $20 membership, from yourself it's a small contribution, but it makes a real statement about your support for our libraries.
Right. Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. And if nothing else, you could think of a $20 membership fee as just an easy way to pay for a great lunch, and an hour of entertainment. So I would encourage, all the my fellow trustees to support DCPLA through a membership. And also, I want to thank you for your work as the executive director. DCPLA is a really dynamic support organization for public libraries in Daly City and Colma. And without your organization and your energy and your enthusiasm and your skills, it just wouldn't be the same. So thanks to you and your board for everything you do for our libraries and the citizens of our community.
Thank you so much, and I can send that back to you as well, and all of you for supporting our libraries. It's a labor of love, so it's really, libraries have such a broad reach that it's really an easy way to make a real impact in your community. So thank you for all that you do as well, and thank you for the compliments, Bill. Oh, and one more thing, it is tax deductible, your donations, so don't forget that.
That is true.
Another little benefit, so thank you.
Victoria, one quick question. For the Daly City Youth Poet Laureate, what's the requirements? Is it just you have to live in Daly City and be a teen, or do you have to live here and go to high school here?
So you need to be between the ages of 13 and 18. And you can either live here or go to school here. So
Okay.
we wanted to just open it up a little bit. So if you live in South City, but you go to Jefferson High School, you're eligible. If you live in Daly City, but you go to, like our current one attends Archbishop Reardon High School.
Okay.
So you just need to have some connection to
Okay,
Daly
cool.
City, basically.
I have friends that live here, but kids go to Crystal Springs or wherever.
Yeah,
private
that's
school.
totally fine. It's just, basically we don't want somebody who
Yeah.
lives in Pacifica and goes to El Camino, like, why would you be the Daly City Youth Poet Laureate? So, but, we feel like being at school here in Daly City or Broadmoor Village, because we're kind of counting that as well, because a lot of middle school students are eligible. I would say the only other thing that might be worth mentioning is most high school seniors are not eligible just because it is a position, it's not a prize. So they need to live locally and not be enrolled in school, like in college full-time. So, if you're 18 and you're about to move to New York, you can't really be the Youth Poet Laureate because we do expect you to attend some, do some performances, do a service project. And even if you were, living away but still involved in the community, we feel like, a college freshman, you got enough on your plate. You don't need to try to hold this position. But there's a $2,500 honorarium, and that is actually paying for people to, these students to do a position. So, but thank you for the question.
Any other questions or comments for Victoria? Okay.
Thank you.
Stay dry out there, huh? Careful.
Oh, I'll hang
Oh,
out.
good. You'll be safe in here. Okay, so next on the agenda is the fiscal year 2024-2025 budget. Jayla?
Yep, it's that time. So one of the duties of this board is to kind of review and give some feedback on our budget. So I have a short presentation to give.
Sure.
And I will turn that on one moment.
Okay.
Click. Excellent. All right. Seems early, but it's not. So I think probably everyone here is aware that the city operates on a fiscal year basis. So so our fiscal year starts July 1 and ends in the next calendar year, June 30th. So we are currently working on preparing the 2025 fiscal budget, which would start in 2024 and end in 2025. And so here is the timeline. So we have already started this process. It starts often before the holiday even. So the departments, each of the different departments put together their budget and submit it to the finance department. And this is a lot of Excel, a lot of just calculating things, looking at things like what are our monthly bills for utilities or for credit card processing, that sort of thing, and projecting out not just what we're going to need in the next budget, but also what we're expecting to expend by the end of our current budget. So I know many of you have done budgets in your own own different fields, and I'm sure quite similar. Through the spring, finance is going to be reviewing those. They're looking at for things that don't add up, and also looking at the whole budget and making sure that the city is going to be fiscally sound. They will come back to the departments if there's any questions or something needs further, further justification. And then if you've looked at our budget, you know that it's not just charts with some numbers in there. There's also there's a narrative which explains kind of the role of each department within the city and how that's serving the priorities of the city council. We also put out performance measures. They're not the most exciting ones, but they're ones that we're able to do year to year to year, so you can kind of see our progress. I will say that the pandemic really interrupted our ability to see trends, but hopefully we're going to get back on track with that. And then, of course, an org chart is in there for each of the departments. So those will go in, and then City Council will have their study sessions, and the whole thing kind of wraps up with a budget presentation, and then we have to have a budget, and it will be adopted at the June 10th council meeting. So just some background as we went into this. It's been interesting times, unprecedented, they said. So fiscal year 2021, we ended with a considerable deficit as a whole. And then in 2022, we ended with a surplus, but that surplus was really only because there were some unanticipated one-time monies that came from the government, from the ARPA, American Rescue Plan Act funding. And then 2023, again, the same thing. It was some additional ARPA funds as well as some other one-time funds. But had both of those years, had those one-time funds not been there, we would have been in a deficit. And currently, the 10-year forecast is showing that there are deficits in the future if we're not able to rein in some spending. So with that happy note, we go into the process of budgeting. So this year was a little different. Last year, we all set out on doing our budget, and we did we were returning to normal. We were doing a biannual budget, which is what the city has traditionally done. And so we did the 2024 and the 2025 budget. But due to all the economic uncertainties, later in that process, it was decided that we would, in fact, just approve the first of those years, the 2024, and also implement some reductions not to staffing or anything like that, but to what's called the discretionary budget. So those were implemented. So then when we started doing our budget this year, we had done much of the work. So it was resubmitted. I went through everything just to make sure that there were no new changes that were required, but then mainly just resubmitted it. The operating budget, there's actually 3 components to that. There's the big one, which is salaries and benefits. That can be, 2/3 or even more of the budget. That really is, people is what we are. We are people, and that's how we provide services. There's also fixed charges, which is just indirect people, really. And then there's what they call discretionary, much of which is not truly discretionary, but it's it's assorted, costs, services, and supplies. So I'll go through those. For the salaries and benefits, there's the full-time staff, and this is actually something that finance calculates out because it's complex. Each of the bargaining units have their own MOUs, which determine what their benefits are, and of course, salaries. There's charts showing where people get moved. So all of the library staff, except for administrative staff, are members of AFSCME. So that's the American Federation of State, county, and municipal employees. So they bargain as a group with other AFSCME members in other departments, and so their MOU would have came back kind of late in the game, and it specifies what their benefits are, so that impacts their costs. The other thing that happened, you'll recall, is we had this reorganization where the library and recreation are now their own separate departments, and the end result of that was a net gain of 1/4 of an FTE. But in reality, actually, it feels like more of a net gain of 3/4 of an FTE. So I'm excited about that change. It's not that often that we have any changes to full-time staffing, so that's a positive. And then part-time staff is also important in the library. Not all departments use a lot of part-time staff, but the library definitely is one of them. So things that impact the cost of part-time staff, the wages go up each January 1 generally. What happens is the minimum wage is increased by law. We do not have anyone who's paid minimum wage, but all of the salaries rise proportionally. So also, staff who've been with us a while, there's longevity steps in pay, and so that affects them. There's also workers' compensation, Medicare, Social Security, those kinds of things that get budgeted. For fiscal '25, the total allocation of part-time staff is not being changed at all from what it is this year. I will say that it's always a little challenging, both the hiring and the retaining of hourly staff. So we often find that we are a little underspent, but it is budgeted as if people will stay. But there's that gap that happens when somebody leaves. They either find a full-time job or they move or whatever, and then you need to find somebody to come in and fill those shifts, and there's just always a little bit of a gap. So back to full-time staff. This is our allocation of full-time staff here, kind of by category. So there's a department head now. There's 100% of one. In the past, when it was library and recreation, there was somebody who was split. This is the new kind of 0.25 that I was talking about, is an admin assistant. It's not filled yet. We have 7 librarians. Which sounds like a lot, but we have 4 locations, so it doesn't feel like a lot always. So each of the locations has a librarian manager. We do currently have 1 vacancy. We also have a specialist youth services librarian and a specialist cataloger and collections librarian, and then there's a reference librarian that's based out of Ceremony. And then we have library assistants. These are the paraprofessionals that the vast majority of them do circulation at the various libraries, and those are often the lovely people that help you check out or any kind of accounts thing, and they provide also direction and support using the technology. We have 1 circulation manager, which is a higher level library assistant, and then somebody who actually she splits her time, but she does cataloging and processing support, the back end support. So you get a total of 20 FTE not all of which are filled at this time. And then again, back again to the hourly staff. This is how that's allocated, and you can tell it's not insignificant. We have, when you calculate all the FTEs out, 6.73, which is, we rely pretty heavily on these people. They are, some of them have been with us for so many years, and then others, 6 months, and then they find maybe something that more meets their needs. They're kind of funny numbers, but each person, does the hours that the library needs, but also that works with their availability. If you're working a part-time job, most of the time there's either another job or a lot of times college students, for example. So there's actually 22 individuals. There's a couple that work just a few hours a week, but most it's about 12 to 18 hours a week. And so again, they're divided up. There's at each of the different libraries. Also, those who are dedicated to doing the cataloging and processing. So all the new materials coming in, and then just a little bit of time with youth services and outreach. The second category for operating budget was the fixed charges, which is the least interesting, really. But this is something that's also calculated out by finance, and it is, as I mentioned, really mainly people as well. It's actually just a share of costs. So those other departments that are providing services to other city departments, the share of cost that belongs to the library for things like telephones, city IT, custodial maintenance, the interoffice messenger, which we rely on a lot, just self-insurance, that sort of thing. So I would say if you're looking at a chart of the budget, I don't have the final numbers yet, but you're going to see it's about at least 2/3 is going to be that personnel piece, and then fixed charges is actually usually a bit similar to the discretionary. And the discretionary is the final piece. As I mentioned, it's services and supplies. It's a little bit of a catch-all, but these are all critical components. So we have things like utilities, which, we could do things to save energy, but we have, large buildings with automated systems. So to some degree, those bills are what they are. There's also credit card processing fees, office supplies, just all of the things that go into operating an organization. We have contractual services with PLS, which is a little bit like the fixed charges in that there's a lot of services that PLS is providing to its member libraries, and each member library then pays that share of the cost. So we have interlibrary delivery. So if you place a hold on something and Redwood City has it and it comes up, so that's part of what those charges are. We have, of course, physical collections, so that's the books. We always say the book budget, but it's more than books, as you know. And then we have the digital collections, so the databases and e-resources. And then there's also a section that's for programming supplies. This is actually relatively very small. So we have supplies for just crayons, things like that. But also when we hire contractors, this would be something we have a very small budget for. We also received some grant funds from DCPLA to supplement that, and it's made a big impact. I know the librarians are extremely happy to have that funding. And then the books for outreach, which those are the books that they're not added to the collection. They're given to children in the community for their home libraries. And so here's the numbers as they are right now. They are proposed. So as I kind of shaded them, you can see the 2024 numbers on the right, and there's really very minimal difference for this upcoming year in terms of what's being requested. The only place where you're seeing a significant difference is, I think my math is wrong there, darn it. The totals, I think, got messed up. I'm very sorry about that. But the system-wide services and supplies, which is the bigger piece, there is some cyclical replacement of equipment for our network, which is the PLS part of the network that's coming up. And so there's some funds in there to do that process. We're going to do it as cost effectively as possible, but we want to make sure that we're able to do that because particularly network equipment is important for for the security of the network, and we absolutely, take that responsibility very seriously. And then we're not all expenditures. We do have revenues. The library is not generally a revenue generating department, nor should it be, but we do take in some revenues. We have Measure K, which has been funding summer learning for all PLS libraries for a number of years, and it's incredibly helpful to us. We will be applying for that funding, not individually as Daly City, but as PLS as a whole. So hopefully we will be able to continue to receive that funding because it allows us to do the books essentially, and the scholarships, I should add. We also take in revenue for it's not very helpfully named miscellaneous, but the vast majority of miscellaneous is actually if we don't want to charge people for using the library, but when things are lost or damaged, we do bill people, and that's mainly what that is. We also run a book sale, a little used book sale at our main library and at Westlake with donated or deaccessioned books. And we charge people for printing because that's kind of an individual benefit, and it's there's costs associated with that. We receive funding as well from the county. It's actually a little tiny piece of the property taxes gathered for both Colma and unincorporated Broadmoor, because we provide library services to those areas, which just makes sense from a geographical perspective. And then this is a new and interesting one. We have received a payment from PLS. PLS has set aside some of the budget for ebooks for someone to kind of manage it. They're the ebook chair is what it's called, and it's a rotating responsibility. Burlingame had this responsibility in two prior years. It's come to us it's going to be this fiscal year and next fiscal year only. So this is a temporary thing, and then another library will take that on. But it's to help offset the cost because it's quite staff intensive. For managing that, and it's relatively new setup, so it's been a real learning process. The staff member who's taken it on seems very excited. It's very engaging for him, the work. And then last but not least, grants. Grants are actually generally not budgeted until they're received because they're not anticipated. So each time we receive a grant, it's allocated, and so we come to City Council and they receive it, and then the budget is adjusted to show that grant. So on the right you'll see the fiscal 2024, but that's not like a full budget. That's going to be year to date. And then other grants that we receive typically are from a lot of grants, Library Services and Technology Act grants, which are federal, or grants from the state of California. There was one grant that was California Humanities. So just assorted things. These grants that are not grants from DCPLA are typically project based. So it's very like you want to do a project and they will fund just that very specific project. So I think that was all I had on that. And so I wanted to open it up for any questions that I can hopefully answer, or if not, I can make note and come back. And then, of course, any comments or feedback that you wanted to pass along.
And, no. Anybody have any questions or comments?
Yeah,
Go ahead, Mr. Vice
I
President.
wanted to ask Shayla if we currently have any openings for hourly employees.
There will be some interviews being done, I believe, for a library aide position at John Daly sometime in the very near future, yes.
Okay. So you mentioned that those positions are sometimes a little difficult to hire and retain employees. Are they normally filled? Are you able to maintain a balance between people leaving and recruiting, or do we have gaps at times?
There's always a gap with because there's such a process. We have for the part-time, we do have a continuous recruitment. So the Daly City uses CalOps, an online portal for hiring. And so we're always collecting applicants. And so what'll happen is if somebody has let us know that they're leaving, we'll look through and try to find people who've applied that can work at that location and can work, the hours that are needed. And then we reach out to schedule interviews. Get usually about half the people respond. A lot of people don't respond. They've either already moved on or maybe they weren't as serious.
Right.
And then conduct interviews. It's not in civil service, so there can just be a single interview. There's a little bit of a pre-hiring process. Everybody does live scan and some INS stuff, but so it's it depends on how quickly we're able to put together a panel and get people scheduled for interviews. Sometimes if the timing is good and we already are doing interviews, it can be quick. And other times, if everybody's just booked up and we can't find a time to meet, it can be a few months. And it'll be, like a library page, for example, might not get the same level of priority just because, it's not as required for operating, although they are essential.
And what's the entry-level salary for a hourly position?
So there's there's two main positions, library aide and library page, and the pages mainly are just reshelving books and doing opening and closing procedures, and the library aide is at the front desk providing customer service. So there's a lot more training involved, and I don't remember, it was like 18 something. Yeah.
Okay.
I can look it up for you.
That's all right. 18 is probably close enough. And do they stay at that level, or do they move up if they're, in service for a while?
So Daly City has like 5 steps for each salary range. So it's a longevity thing typically. So after a certain period of time, we'll look, they've been with us for a while, and they get bumped up. Yeah. It's about 5%.
Last question, would it be useful or even permissible to announce vacancies that we're currently interested in filling, especially for hourly people, if that's a little more problematic, at the trustees meeting, just sort of as a standing item, personnel or something like that?
We could definitely do that. I think that the current hiring, we've already scheduled the interviews, so
Right.
Not right now. We do have an active recruitment for a librarian 3, so if anyone out there is interested in that position.
Okay, well, thanks. That's all I wanted to know.
I do. I just want to follow up on Mr. Vice President's question. You said that when an employee stays with you for, a certain amount of time, they do get moved up. So how about, is it also based on performance? Like, say, for example, they're doing a really good job and you think this person is able to move up to the next level? Is that also another consideration?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure on that. I don't want to think that it's just because you've been here for a while, you move up.
No, the
Okay.
time allows people to demonstrate
Right.
mastery of
Exactly.
what they're doing. Yeah.
Okay.
And unfortunately, there's just those 5 steps. So
Mm-hmm.
people who've been here for a really long time, they've topped out essentially.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else?
Yeah, I have one quick question. I know the budget is shrinking, or so we're trying to, but is there any consideration for any of the libraries to have weekend hours?
As is so many things, that's definitely just a matter of staffing.
Oh, okay.
And so in prior years when the opportunity has arisen, we can specify what that would look like, what that would take, and see if there's funding available. That's how we were able to reopen John Daly and Bayshore at least
Sure.
5 days a week. So that's definitely something that there's a lot of interest in, but
Yeah, I would
Not
just
yet.
say that it would be nice for Daly City to have one library that has at least like a Saturday or Sunday, because
Well, Westlake does have Saturday.
Oh, they
hours.
do?
Mm-hmm. They're a Tuesday through Saturday, so
Oh,
they're all
okay.
5 days a week. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's good to know.
It's just a lot of libraries with not a lot of people, because once you go to 6 days a week, you've really, and it's the same thing with a day. Like once you've gone past one person's day for your open hours, then you have to stagger people, and it just really multiplies the
Even
staff
doing like
required.
I don't remember if John Daly still does it, but I know they used to do like 1 day a week would be like 12 to 5, and they would have really staggered hours. I know SF does that on weekends, like they might have 2 to or South City might do 2 to 5 on Sundays, so it's like very limited
Yeah.
hours, but
When I started,
open.
we had very limited Sunday
Yes,
hours.
I
and it
remember
was-
that.
Yeah, it was mandatory overtime.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's definitely something I know we'd all like to do, because all the libraries around us have that. It's just being spread out over the 4 locations. And then, I mean, take today for an example. We had to scramble this morning to send people out so that we'd be able to open all the branches.
Oh, got
'Cause
it.
we had somebody out, and somebody called in sick, and then
Sure.
somebody else called in sick. So.
Always after a long weekend.
Coincidentally?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, you have a question or comment?
Jim, I just want to check. So, was it only the library 3 position that's currently, I guess, like posted online that's available, or was it all the other ones as well?
So the library aide and the library page positions are what we call continuous recruitment. So you can always apply, but we're not always looking at the applications. We'll look when we're in need of somebody. So which is really helpful to have applicants to look at when we do need somebody. We had an ongoing recruitment for an hourly librarian, but it's we have one position and it's only 10 hours a week, so it's not the most attractive position. And then for anything that's civil service, it's a much more structured process, and there's a scheduled opening date, a scheduled closing date. And currently, if you went to look on CalOps, you would see the library aide, the library page, and the librarian 3, which is that civil service position.
Okay, Angie, any comments or
Yeah,
questions?
I did have a question. I did see that you mentioned that there was like an admin position open, and then there was a librarian position open. Is that the same scenario where it's posted and you all are like actively looking?
So for the admin position, we're hoping to do a promotional recruitment.
Oh, that's good. Okay. And then second question, for the breakdown, are we able to see where the DCPLA like funding goes, like towards like what projects? Is that listed anywhere?
Oh, so is actually in the budget, it just all goes into
Yeah.
but I have my spreadsheets.
Okay.
So I do not have it with me right now, but I could definitely bring back a report that shows all of
Yeah,
the
I'd just be
different things.
interested to know. That's all.
They have some on the website. There's some of the projects listed, but I don't know that it's up to date.
It might not be.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a huge variety, yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
Let me make a note to bring DCPLA. I'll bring that back to the next
Thank you,
meeting. if
Shayla.
that's okay. Or I could even just email it out if if you don't want a discussion. Okay.
Okay, any other additional comments or questions? Okay. Okay, with that said, we will go to the next agenda, which is the library board online presence. Shayla?
Yes, so the photos are posted, and I know we had kind of started discussion, and I just wanted to check back in for direction from you. I know there
haven't
was
seen
some
it yet.
interest in doing maybe board pics, or if you wanted to do short bios. We had bios posted in the past. Bill will remember.
Right.
So if one or both of those things, or something completely different, that would be appropriate for the city's website.
Is mine still up?
It's in the system. I could dig it back out. Yeah.
Oh, okay. You can repost that.
Okay.
I haven't had many changes.
So, would other people be willing to send me a little bio, a little paragraph.
Yeah. I'd be happy to share a short bio. I believe I had one
think I
posted
had
when I
yours as
first initially joined the board. Bill helped me make my short bio, and then I had him proofread it. So he was my mentor for that component. But I think I might still have it. Yeah,
I can send out Dr. Lex's as an example.
as an example. Yes.
One other thing I would suggest, when I did mine, I actually looked at some of the other libraries in PLS because there are other boards that have some background information about their members and, took sort of the points that they were covering and just filled in my information. So that's kind of a quick and easy way to get it done.
Okay, Victoria, go ahead. Do you have a comment?
I just checked really quickly, and it is pretty updated on our, better than I thought, on our website. So if you go at the dcpla.org and go under About Us and Grants, there is up through November of 2023. And I don't think we gave anything in December, so.
Nice.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you
Thanks,
for that,
Victoria.
Victoria.
I wouldn't mind adding something to our bios about either like favorite books, what we're currently reading, to make it more interactive. I know Redwood City and a few others, they keep it more, I don't know if it's their Instagram, but I think it's their webpage. And it gives a little color as to who you are, what you read, what your interests are. We're all on the library board. I'd hope that we all read or watch movies or utilize our libraries. If not, maybe now is the time to start. That's just my 2 cents.
That's definitely. I mean, that's certainly something that could be added as kind of a
Yeah,
section of
like
the
a
bio.
little like fun thing about what you
Fun
last
fact.
read, what your favorite book is.
Yeah, I like that idea, Rachel. Good.
Okay, any other questions or comments concerning this? Commissioner, no? Okay, so with that said, next is announcements and communications. And Shayla, go ahead.
I think I already announced this, but we do have a librarian 3 vacancy. It is posted on CalOps if anyone's interested. This vacancy is the manager of our ceremony main library, and this person also handles reference and adult services. So it's an important position. And then also we have, I believe that if they're not up at all the libraries right now, they will be later this week. We have large displays on human trafficking to raise awareness. This was something that's being done by the county's office of for human trafficking, and they offered to do this, and they're really amazing displays. So we're also going to post online a picture of it online. But yeah, if you drop by at the end of this week, they should be up the whole rest of the month.
Okay. Can we say something about what we saw at a certain place?
Oh, yes.
I was at Westlake, and I happened this just happened suddenly. That bookstore, that bookstore that opened up, and
Yes.
yeah, I ran into that, and I was like wondering. I said, "Wait, what is this?" And no, it's interesting when you go in there, and the staff there are very friendly. They all know Victoria, but no, it is an interesting concept because we live in a time now where everything is digital. Everyone likes to read from their phone or their laptops or. But I was amazed at how many people were in there actually buying books, renting books, donating, and actually reading physically in that store. And I was like, oh wow. I mean, this is really an eye opener because it makes you realize, yes, there are people out there that still read physical material.
Oh yeah.
And it was really amazing. So I just want to say that's a great idea. It's a bummer that they're only open from Thursday to I think Saturday, and they're only open from 4 to 8 or something, or the hours are like 4 to 8.
So it's operated by the Peninsula Book Collaborative.
Right.
So it's a nonprofit. So they're volunteers.
They're all volunteers in there, yeah. They're all very, very knowledgeable.
Yeah, I was just very
Yeah.
impressed at their
I was
ability
too,
to
yeah.
launch.
Exactly, yeah. And I saw updated material in there too, like in books, so.
Where is this located?
It's at the Westlake Shopping Center.
By Color Me Mine, right?
Oh, okay.
Go ahead, Victoria.
I'd love to comment on that if I may.
Please.
I was actually regretting that I had forgotten to mention this when I was addressing you earlier. So the Peninsula Book Collaborative is a nonprofit, as Chayla mentioned, that was started by a person who was formerly on the DCPLA Board of Trustees. She predated me. When I came was when she left. But we are very much partnering with them, and they are actually donating 10% of their proceeds to us, which is delightful, as well as serving the very useful service of operating a used book sale. Like, that's something that DCPLA has done in the past, like every couple of years, but it was really a lot of work and not a lot of profit. It was a lot of fun, but it's been hard to maintain that. So now I have somewhere that I can tell people they can donate their books. So that's something you all should know. If you have books or you know anybody who's, people are always asking me, do you take book donations? And I was like, no, because we don't have a space. Like, I have a home office. But Peninsula Book Collaborative does, in fact, take book donations. They're also going to start doing things like story times. They have volunteer opportunities. My own child volunteers there. And yeah, they are run by volunteers, which is why they're not open more. But it's actually such a huge benefit to our community, and I'm very pleased, including just having a storefront that is like sort of partnering with me. Like, I have my Youth Poet Laureate poster up in there. Like, there's so many reasons that they are absolutely wonderful. So we're really lucky to have that new nonprofit in town. So thank you for mentioning that. 'Cause I
No
was
problem.
like, I forgot to talk about
It is,
that.
it is a great addition to the community. It really is.
Yeah, there aren't a lot of opportunities to purchase books here, so
Oh, yeah,
we're very excited.
Okay. I open the floor to anyone else.
Yeah, Shayla, I just wanted to give you some positive feedback from a mutual client, client and patron of the library, client of the bank, patron of the library. They know that I'm a board of trustee, so every now and then they say, hey, Angela, I was up there, and I believe they got into a little, they had a problem, right? But your staff was very attentive, and when they didn't feel satisfied with the resolution, they brought you, and you helped them out tremendously. And so, yeah, I just wanted to give you kudos, and it's always good to hear the team effort, and even as busy as you are, being very busy and being face to face with patrons it's hard work. So, good job.
The patrons are why we're here.
Yep.
Anyone else? Okay, with that said, now we will move on to the next agenda, which is building for the next meeting. So anyone has any ideas or thoughts? Go ahead, Bill.
Yes, I'm hoping to have some new information from County Health on drug use in San Mateo County and the possibility of having Narcan available in libraries and trained staff at the next meeting. So we can put that on.
Do you think that we'll be able to get someone to present?
I hope so.
Okay.
They're in the process of trying to hire a full-time staff member for community outreach, and that would be the person best qualified to make a presentation. But the last time we talked, it was in process, and they thought it would culminate at the beginning of the year, and I'm hoping that that will take place this month, and the person will be ready to come and share information with us in February. But, I'll keep you advised.
Would you like me to continue the online presence topic?
Yeah.
Sure.
In the past, we also had sort of a report out of like community and library visits. Would you like that on the agenda?
Yeah.
again?
Yes.
Absolutely.
that'll give us a good update on how the libraries are functioning now. And how it will, and what's the community's view on it, since we are moving forward now. Times are changing again, and let's see. Me too? Oh, no, go ahead.
Just going back to my item
Yeah,
real quick.
please.
When we were talking at the end of last year, initially we thought maybe a Zoom presentation would be possible, but then it didn't seem feasible. Is that still going to be the case in this coming year?
Yeah, I think that it's not something that was consistently working, so I was told that it wasn't really possible.
No worries. Thank you.
Okay.
We could show a recording, though.
Oh, okay. I'll keep that in mind.
Anyone else? Okay. With that said, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I will second that motion.
Okay.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
All right, everyone, be safe out there, huh?